Hey guys, Marco the dog trainer here. Today we're going to be doing a quick video on just general knowledge about retractable leashes. Are they good to use? Are they safe? What should I be using it for? All that kind of stuff. Now, in this video, I'm using the MK Def retractable dog leash. I'm going to put the product link below. If you're interested, feel free to check that out. I do have other videos that go into more depth of why I like this one so much. But for today, we're going to be focusing mainly on, again, good information to understand about retractable leashes. Okay, so I've been training dogs professionally for 8 or 9 years now, and most veterinarians that I know and most dog trainers that I know absolutely hate retractable leashes. And I used to be 100% on board with that. I didn't want anything to do with them. Now, as time has went on, I've kind of found that there's a time and a place for a retractable leash, that it can be a very helpful tool if you know what you're doing. But most people that I see using retractable leashes are not using them in a way that I agree with. Okay. So, from the vet standpoint, I think that the main concerns come around health, safety, and well being. So, this particular leash is 26 feet long. Okay. Now, if our dog is sprinting 26 feet and they hit the end of the line where it tightens, that's going to cause a lot of force on their trachea. Probably not great for them. Okay. Now, especially if this is like a double mistake, is if someone's using a prong collar that they don't understand how to use and they have that connected to this, that's like a double whammy. Where now we've got a dog sprinting 26 feet and now they're hitting the end of the leash with a prong collar. That is no good. Okay, so that's just some of the stuff that I think vets are worried about. I've also seen dogs get like rope burns from the leash getting caught around them, and they're kind of panicking. Um, so that's kind of like a health and safety concern. Okay, now from a training concern, like I said before, it can create some kind of bad habits that if we're just letting our dogs do whatever they want whenever they want to, that's going to kind of undo other aspects of your training that you're trying to put in place, like don't pull on the leash and pay attention and come when I call you and things more like that. Okay, now I want to just go over the three main areas that I will use a retractable leash, just because I think that, again, there's only a time and a place for this type of equipment. Okay, so the first area that I'm going to use it is going to be for potty training or leash breaking a puppy. Okay, where most puppies are not used to wearing a leash. So they almost have to learn and make sense of feeling tension around their neck. Now, that's why, like most puppies, when you put them on a leash, they don't walk, they don't know what to do. Now, that takes a few weeks. And now, if we're trying to take a puppy out to go to the bathroom on a leash, it can be very difficult because they're not leash broken. They don't know what to do. So, believe it or not, a lot of dogs have to learn how to go to the bathroom while they're on a leash. So this can be a really helpful way to do that because it almost feels like they're not on a leash, and it can be a really good introduction to going to the bathroom on a leash. Okay, so that's the first area. Potty training, leash breaking for puppies or really any dog. Now, the second area is going to be for off leash training or coming when called. Okay, where a big portion of teaching dogs to come when called is that you have to show them what you want. So a lot of times you need them to be on some type of leash in order to help them figure out what you're asking. So a lot of times I'll use like really long nylon leashes, but sometimes those can be a disaster because they get knotted up, and if it's like wet outside, they really start to stink and they get gross. So I do use those quite a bit, but sometimes I'll use this instead because just the way that these work, if your dog is on this, it's probably not going to be dragging on the floor. And like I said, if I'm practicing coming when called and I'm like reeling in this leash, that can be kind of tedious and annoying, especially if it's dirty. So I like to use this because it just kind of automatically reels them in as they're coming back to me. Okay, so that's the second area, which is recall or just off-leash practice in general, because again, we can mimic them feeling like they're off the leash. Okay, and then the third area that I'll recommend using a retractable leash is just going to be for dogs that are already off leash trained, that we're just using this more as a safety net. Because a lot of people probably trust their dogs more than they should. They're living, breathing, thinking animals. We don't control them. And if we make mistakes, our trained dogs make mistakes too. And let's not forget that there are leash laws almost everywhere that dogs are supposed to be on leash. So the retractable leash can be a really helpful thing to have for dogs that are already off leash trained. They already understand not to pull on the leash and to come when called and to walk at your side. So I will use a retractable leash if I'm taking my dogs into an environment that I just want to make sure that I can keep them safe. Again, as a dog trainer, I'm kind of programmed to think of like the worst case scenario everywhere that we go. So if I'm going for a hike through the woods or something like that, I worry about other animals that might, be hiding out in the woods that aren't going to be super friendly towards my dogs. So I always want to have a way to keep my dogs safe. So I'll use this and I'll just let my dogs walk around and do their own thing. So it's kind of like they're off leash, but I still have a way to get them back. So those are going to be the three main areas that I would use a retractable leash. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.